friend of mine who's jumping on the cast. Lafon, how are you doing here today?
Pretty good, pretty good. We're going to get right into it, actually. Garden Center off the top here. It's going to be TFE, LGE.Huya. Away we go, Rapture.
Yeah, Team for Victory. Many of you already know them for being a team that I believe has like 4 or 5 DPS players listed on their roster and like 1 tank. So this is a team that we should expect an absolute truckload of damage coming out of. While Lingon Esports, a team that has been kind of a middle ground team in Chinese contenders for a while. Their roster's a bit different than last year. They have a couple new players from the from Korean region to come over, and of course they have a new name. So and they're the new Chengdu Hunters Academy team as well. So some big changes for LGE, I'm sorry, up against a team that's completely brand new to the region.
And this is now we're going to see TFE. They're going to set up again with this composition, this quad DPS. Sorry, this triple DPS with Brigitte and the Hammond running through. So we see the Infrasight already brought online as Fish sets up in the backline and takes shots away here. Rapture, they're going to play really aggressively on the point.
Yeah, and LGE, you're already seeing how this huge DPS play from TFE is paying off. It's really hard for LGE to poke at all, and anytime they poke their heads, they're taking a ton of damage. Huya going down so low there as that Ana, and barely gets bolstered up there by Lenza, sorry. Fish and Giant picking up 2 kills there. It's a 6-4 situation here for TFB, and Team for Victory is going to push and continue to push to put down LGE.Huya down to the nitty-gritty. It's going to be now 38% for TFB and counting.
Fish has been putting a lot of pressure on this line as they get the engage here. The sniper has been doing so much damage from downrange, and this is a player we actually kind of highlighted. They're going to commit the nano boost here on the Winston as they engage, and with that first couple of kills, this could spell the flip for them.
Yeah, and really Molly has the opportunity to throw this nano boost down if things start to get haywire here, but it's going to be Haker that's trying to get this EMP as soon as possible before Giant can let down that barrage, before Hades can let down that minefield. Something crazy here will be the Ana boosted J-Mac who goes down after they jump onto the point as the Winston. Giant going down super early and gets caught out on the ground level of the point there. So LGE getting a pretty easy pickup here on the point without much effort. A couple resources burned, but they have forced TFE to fall back. But then Bible gets a pick there onto Piggy. That could be the cue for TFE to go right back in. Indeed, they do. They force Mahaker to get out of dodge. Bible putting more shots down, trying to build up to another dragon. Giant still has the barrage they've saved here, waiting out the sound barrier, and then uses it to burn on the backline, finding both the Ana and the Lucio at the same time. Great play there. Heads up play by Giant, and that will help TFV likely secure this point again.
This has been a really, really strange engagement. I think one of the things LGE.Huya, they're running the composition of the the Sombra, but they're not really able to set her up in play, right? She can't get the backline, she can't really engage with those EMPs, she can't even get those hacks off, and TFE with their hyper-mobile composition, they're able to avoid that Sombra play, and it becomes a lot easier for TFE to just hold it out.
And now TFE looking to try and clean things up and end this right here, right now, not letting LGE getting any momentum whatsoever. Giant still up ahead here on the far up in the air. Meanwhile, Bible on this Hondo still has the dragon ready to go. There it goes, the Hammond going right in. Hades looking for a way in. Meanwhile, the dragon trying to cut off the backline of LG from the rest of the team, but LG does get control of the point. TFV looking for a way back in, but they can't find it because Kami and Piggy are pick up the kills. They don't have the damage output that they once had, dropping DPS left and right, and then Kino go down as well.
I like the composition theoretically that LGE is running, but ultimately what it comes down to is that they're just not able to take the DPS out one by one. They're kind of left staggering, and even though they do take control, it hasn't been consistent. So they are going to try the EMP here and see what they can find value out of.
And Giant still waiting on this barrage as well. Haker does have the EMP, like you said, going to be able to use that. Molly throws down the nano boost, going to be on J-Mac yet again. J-Mac doesn't, and I'm not entirely sure why, because J-Mac is nowhere near anywhere to get any kind of usage off of that nano boost. There will be this EMP coming down, and Kami gets the Giant as a result. Kami now looking for more, has the Widowmaker in the back line here. It looks like TFV really struggling to get back up onto the point, because LGE looks like they might have enough to get onto this and hold on to the point so far, LeBron.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting here, as again, they're going to find a couple of kills here. Rapture trying to bring out the remainder as they set this round through. They're going to commit a couple ultimates, because again, last fight territory here, not a whole lot left of time, and with Fish going down, this could hopefully spell a flip back.
Oh, and there's the overtime ticking away. It should be enough for TFV to hold on here. Piggy goes down, gets the D-Mech. Bible going to throw out the dragon just for good measure. Overtime taken away. There's the minefield coming down from Hades, and actually just pick up kill. Giant gets one as well, and J-Mac. Hades finds another one, uses the grapple to kill Lenza. Overtime taken away. Look, Team for Victory sticking to what their name says. they get that first victory immediately, getting on the board. Their first match here in Contenders, trying to get that first round win.
And here it was a pretty convincing round, I think, for TFE. So
yeah, and we're gonna switch it up here. We have a slight delay. We'll be right back just as this next phase starts. All right, where are we at? Who am we syncing with you?
5、4、3、2、1，第二回合，占领目标，待目中。
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Apologies for the technical issue there, but you had a nice little calm entry into this next round, and LGE, as you see, gets that first capture here in the first fight. Lafon, LGE getting that first capture with the help of, running Kami on that Tracer still. Anything else that's sticking out to you?
I think one of the things is this is not nearly as an open map, and TFE can't really take advantage of their quad DPS style here. The pulse bomb going to be committed, and they're just going to find the cleanup here. Rapture, it's not much of a clean fight, and if you're TFE, even with that exit frag, you're probably going to give this one up. I have to say, I think TFE, even though they're building ultimates really quickly, one of the struggles about control center specifically, and why tanks have been so strong here historically, is that, or as of late, is that, you don't have the ability to rotate around the map, and with the control that a tank brings you, you can just take so much more space.
Oh, here comes another dragon, as we've seen time and time again from Bible, but it really doesn't do much except, I guess, to separate some of the tanks of LGE from the rest of the team. It doesn't really have too much of an impact as TFE still struggling to get onto the point itself. Giant, though, has the barrage, but doesn't really have the positioning or sightline to make good use of it, and is going to bide their time for now. Looking for Kami, who's still harassing them on this Tracer. And you can see the second Giant looks away, Kami immediately just shreds him with a ton of damage. Giant, again, looking for a sightline. Piggy going to try and cut that off with the self-destruct, forcing TFE to come to them, because if they don't, they're going to get hit by the self-destruct there. And LGE trying to capitalize on it, but still, whether TFE actually able to come out on top of this despite the self-destruct, still on top of things with the help of this Valkyrie coming. Jimmy looking to get this Valkyrie soon. Kami gets cut down before they're able to use the pulse bomb. That's big. And now LGE floundering just a bit as TFE looking for one kill and another. They get the staggers. Fish with the bob kill. Fish with another one on Piggy. And just as LGE hit about the 80% mark, 82% that is, TFE will get control of the point finally.
Interestingly, the thing that actually helps fill up that fight is Bob. He acts as a pseudo tank there, and Hades is able to continue to provide pressure in the backline. LGE they don't really have the resources anymore to keep a sustained fight going, and then the DPS play comes out, and that's why they actually win that fight out. You have more slaying power late in the fight, and with the point contest, you have the ability. Coming to this next fight, LGE, though, they have ability to turn this one back. It's the Transcendence here could be a very good engage tool as they set up with that Dragon Strike for the defense.
Oh, and it looks like Kami might have actually screwed up that Dragon Strike a little bit. Bible was looking for it, but he got pushed off the top by Kami and then had to use the Dragon Strike a little late, so no value whatsoever off of that. Now TFE with a 5v4 player advantage on the point. LGE looking for a way back to try and not lose anybody else as they realize TFE's slowly but surely bringing this back and closing the gap on their lead.
This is a case where it's a composition that I feel does not really make a whole lot of sense, right? You're running the Tracer Sombra, but what value does it bring you when you can't really set the Tracer on the backline because she has nothing to really chase? There's so much she has to be aware of. She's going to try and go after the Ashe, but then the Pharah spams you out and you have to worry about the Brig as well, and I feel like right now LGE.Huya are just not really working as a team, and this composition needs to evolve for the composition they're playing against.
And LGE doesn't really have an ultimate to really usher themselves onto the point. They can use a self-destruct. They're going to use that. That's all they really have. And it's not going to do anything again. JMac finds a kill onto Fish, and now TFE can run wild without having to worry about the self-destruct at all. Coming out from Piggy. There's the barrage. Giant waiting so long to use the barrage. By the time he does, he gets hit by an EMP. Then put down by Kami. 82 to 85% here. TFE now has the lead, but they're losing player advantage on the point. Their DPS going down early, and then they lose their supports, then their tanks. And then finally, Jimmy gets put down at the tail end of that fight. LGE now getting close to tying things up yet again. Neither team giving the other team an inch.
And even though I said that Tracer was not particularly, successful in that last fight, the reason why she's able to clean up is because LGE used so many more resources, right? They used the Primal Rage, they used the Self-Destruct, the EMP, and they just dump ults into the fight just so they can bring it back. They put themselves in overtime territory here now, Rapture, and the Dragon Strike gets eaten. So this is good for LGE already.
Literally scrambling, couldn't see anything, just throws a Dragon Strike, gets in there, and overtime as it ticks away, Molly's going to use the Transcendence to keep LGE and bolster on the point as long as possible, but they've lost Piggy. EMP though, clutch from Haker. Could that be enough to transition some kills towards LGE? It is. Kami and Piggy and Lenzo all getting on the board off of that EMP. That's all they really need. With Kino going to be left to scramble towards the end, LGE will tie things up 100 to 93, and TFB now got to go back to the drawing board as they're tied up going to a third phase.
I think one of the things that's most interesting to me, Rapture, here is that TFE are not giving up. We came into the season not really sure what they were going to bring us, right? This is a team we don't have a lot of intel on. We have a couple of tournaments, but not really a whole lot else to go on, and we weren't sure what they were going to do. We knew they were going to run some DPS-style comps, usually the quad DPS, with the Wrecking Ball and the Mercy. We knew that was what they were most likely to come out with, but we didn't know how well they would perform against the teams of the Chinese Contenders scene, and to see them come out and be very aggressive, be very decisive, I think is probably the best way of putting it, is impressive. But I think LGE.Huya, they've done a great job of responding to that aggression, of kiting it out, making sure that they've got the Sombra. She's been doing a lot of work against Pharah specifically. Giant really hasn't been able to play the game, and this has allowed them to take that tie up here on Lijiang Tower. So heading into Night Market, I expect Hank to do a lot more work here on the Sombra as well.
And now that both teams are going to try and get into it here, it looks like, I honestly, I would say that LG trying to make more work with this kind of abstract composition. What do you think about it?
They're playing a tank comp, or sorry, they're playing a tank style with DPS, so we'll see how it works out as they get that first kill, that very important first kill early on JMac.
Yeah, JMac, one of those two players that LG picked up from the Korean scene here alongside with Piggy, going down early. You see Giant looking for a way to get a barrage quickly and is able to go right in. Fish does steal the kill though. And LGE already losing bodies. Though they get that first percentage and they get that first capture, they immediately lose the TFE.
The highlight of that fight for me is absolutely Fish. One thing that he's done so well so far is not only has he hit shots with Widowmaker, which you always need, but he's also been very survivable. Like, even though, keep in mind, there's not really a whole lot of resources in the comp that TFE is running. They're running the Brig, they're running the Mercy, but you don't have a ton of peel if those two supports are just sort of caught out. And Fish has played very well in terms of the backline, in terms of playing away from where LGE.Huya can ingress on, and he has stayed alive for a lot longer in these fights, and it's made it a lot easier now for Giant to actually continue playing the game.
And both teams kind of giving each a little bit of room here, though. Giant finds Molly there, and now that's really a cue for TFE to go right in. I think LGE already realizing that they have to fall back. They're kind of separated here too, as Kami trying to put some presence on the point, only takes a bunch of damage and then goes down.
And this is going to be interesting. Like, this first pickoff is always going to set this team comp back. You can't really engage with that 5v6, especially not against a 60 DPS comp, or that quad DPS comp that we're seeing that TFE is running. And now TFE, they're starting to build their supports. They just use the Wrecking Ball ultimate, so they kind of zone out that main area, and that allows Giant to set up here with the barrage. They're going to use the Dragon Strike on point, and they're just going to section off the tanks here for LGE.Huya.
Yeah. Oh, and there's that Dragon Strike, and does exactly that. LG's tanks getting separated from the rest of the team, but TFE unable to capitalize immediately here. We do have the Valkyrie, though, coming out from TFE's Jimmy to keep the team alive, but Kami and Molly find the pick. 6v4 situation here for LGE. And look, Molly just bolstering this team up. Great heals. Meanwhile, JMac gets hit by the Nano Boost and helps pick up a kill on the Bible. And that'll be all they wrote. LGE completely turned that kill feed white here as TFE falls back, and they do still have the barrage, but other than that, not too much to show for it after that fight.
I think most impressively, Huya didn't actually use a whole lot in that last fight, right? They allowed TFE to just throw their ultimates away, and then they came back in with a Nano Boost and the Valkyrie, and that was, the Nano Boost, and they was on the Monkey, and that was more than enough for them.
Some somewhat suspect nanos, but they've been paying off in the meanwhile. And Haker, though, EMP's been great. Stellar every time. That completely shut down the movement there from TFE for a moment. And Piggy also picking up the kill on the Giant. And TFV really just they're gonna wait. They're not gonna force the issue. They still have time. They realize that. Let's slowly build up our ultimates when we can, not lose anybody, and then win one more fight and take this map, hopefully. But LGE, they're creeping in. This gap is pretty much closed here. There's a self-destruct right into the running spot. Gets 2. Fish and Jimmy both going down. 6v4 situation for LG, 6v3. They're getting ahead of themselves, and why not? A ton of kills coming down the pipeline. TFV picks up one with Bible, but now it's a huge advance for LGE. Things are about to be tied up, and now LGE has a bunch of ultimates to throw in TFV's face going into this next and last fight.
This is going to be a lot interesting. Last time we see the quick replay there of the Fire getting taken down by the Ana. Hate to see it. Your daughter is still the weak one. But here, again, another early entry frag here, Rapture. And it's going to be, Huya again with the advantage.
And Bible throwing some shots down, trying to farm some ultimate charge off the Diva. J-Mac gets the kill on the Kino. Now Giant with the barrage still holding on to it here. So really holding on so long when it's weird to see when Molon runs like another Pharah player in this region who uses it almost immediately every time. Giant just waiting forever to use this barrage, then gets hit by an EMP and might go down. Indeed they do. Kami gets the headshot there. And this is just all over the place here. TFV will LGE will pick it up as TFV was scrambling to make that they had. LGE will come out on top, takes that first map.
And this is a case where I think this is the expectation is the result is that LGE actually take the victory at the end of this one. So I don't think it's too crazy. I think what's most interesting for me in that first map is in fact that TFE looked so competitive. They looked so aggressive. But keep in mind that is Control, a place where you can run, super hyper flanking style compositions and kind of get away with it. I'm interested to see how it continues throughout the later stages of the matches, or if they're going to continue to or if they're going to switch their comp, or if they're going to continue with that quad DPS. But for now, TFE have been a breath of fresh air in terms of their execution. They've really been on point, and I think even though the map score gives it to LGE, TFE are a team that has, at least early on so far in the season, been impressing in their stylistic choices.
Yeah, TFE is certainly refreshing, and it's great and welcome to see here in Chinese Contenders, a region that's notorious for weird compositions like that. But LGE coming out strong, holding down to what they know, and they come out on top. LaFon, we're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, the second map between these two teams here at Overwatch Contenders China Season 1, 2009. What's up, Overwatchers? Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders China Season 1 2019. I am Rapture, still here with lafon, and we're bringing you map number 2 between Team 4 Victory and Lingon Esports Huya. It is King's Row time, which I'm very excited to see. Everyone loves King's Row,
sure.
so it's great to get into this one. lafon, after seeing what these two teams can do on Control, we still haven't learned too much of their entire output, but what do you think we should be expecting from these teams going into King's Row?
I think it's super interesting that it is King's Row, right? Because we saw TFE running the quad DPS, and the question is, can they do that here again? And they're just going to keep doing it. Like they're running the Brig Mercy, so it's actually triple DPS. Brig's a DPS in her own right. We can say that. So that being said, they're going to continue running it, and I'm interested to see how it plays out on a map that historically has used so much more tank play. Rapture.
Yeah, absolutely. King's Row has certainly been the playground of tank play. Looks like we have some slight technical issues. I think we're going to go to a quick break here to get those sorted out before the map gets started. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, sorry about that. Just LGE.Huya was just stomping TFB so hard that we couldn't legally show you how hard that they were stomping them. So now it's okay. We've gotten the okay to show this content, and now TFB gonna try and get back into this. LGE.Huya is literally about to. There they are. They completed the map. So LGE.Huya completely stomped lafon. I know you had a better view of it, so maybe a little rundown for what we just saw, maybe.
Yeah, TFB went the good old-fashioned quick play route and said no tanks. Spoiler alert, everyone at home, that's not a good choice. Okay, so flippancy aside, like there's a reason TFE are not running the tanks, right? They want to play that hypermobile comp, run the aggression, run the pickoffs, try and get the gameplay back to where is in their control. They want to make it chaotic and scrappy. The only problem is LGE is like, okay, that's cool. We'll just run dive comp, and there's not really a whole lot you can do because we can contest point, we can make sure that we're on the objective and actually could take control, and that allows them to complete the map. I think here the one difference is that TFE bought some timeout, so now they're hoping that they can have a much more aggressive time bank on their attack. They're gonna go this matchup now. I think this is gonna be something we're gonna see in the future too from TFE, is that they're gonna play to the strength of just sheer wild aggression. It's the Wild West of Overwatch now for TFE. They need to just win out and play like it's all offense. There's no defense, just all offense. I think that's what TFE is trying to do here.
That's the thing, is that it's such an all or nothing composition, such an all or nothing mindset that when they really get nothing, they're really getting nothing. I mean, LGE just didn't let TFE breathe at all. They didn't give them an opportunity to build really any ult charge, so TFE didn't have an opportunity to get back into fights they lost. And now that TFE is going to be on offense, they could be full health here, just possibly unable to break through LGE. But LGE running a composition that has an Ana and a Genji on it, still, and then Sombra, still for defense, is still a bit unorthodox here for King's Row.
I think this is not LGE not playing standard. This is LGE knowing that TFE is going to run crazy things. They're running the triple DPS all the time. So this is a comp that's designed for TFE as opposed to just being something they would run normally. And the scouting out from Bible and LGE going to engage as a result.
No, I think you're definitely right there. I mean, Kami has an extra mobility to deal with, all the DPS from vertically and horizontally from TFE. They have the Sombra and the Ana to try and slow them down, so I think you're definitely right on that. And LGE did get ahead with the first blood, but then Jimmy rezzing Kino after Piggy got demeched by Bible, so TFE does have a slight advantage. They don't have to worry about Piggy running around. But then Molly and Haker pointed them out just a few seconds earlier, and they combined for 2 kills swiftly, and then Kami as well. Having that mobility to contest with the Pharah, to contest with the Hanzo, to contest with the Widowmaker all at once, and you can see it's paying off perfectly here for the LGE squad as TFE have been reduced just about.
TFE have become a little bit predictable, I think is what I would describe it as. The LGE, they're going to hack Bible, prevent him from using that leap to get disengaged, and they're just going to engage upon him every single time. He goes down first, and then they just lose the fight.
When JMac, no surprise getting hit by that nano boost almost every time he gets thrown over to him. And that's just going to keep TFE at bay for a few more seconds. Piggy very close to getting demeched there by the right clicks and swings of Kino, but gets out just in time. Kami, meanwhile, harassing Fish. Fish has been a really strong Widowmaker so far, and Kami taking him out of the fight's big, but Bible picking up the slack. It's a kill on the JMac. Kami does get the kill on the Fish. 5v5 situation here. Kami going to get that health pack right back there. Is Haker kind of looking for the Genji a little bit here on the outside of this fight, while Bible finds Piggy. Now getting, great shot by Bible to cut down Haker in that corner. And now it's Kami trying to get LGE back into this fight. Finds one, looking for more. The Pharah is in the air, but getting bolstered up by Jimmy. The nano boosted blade's not enough, and he wasn't in range. Now Kami at 59 HP, looking for just desserts, but their plate has already been cleaned. Kami now getting pushed back and bullied into the corner with low HP and no support there and low healing. It's going to be hard for them to get some kills. Bible with the scouting arrow gets the kill on the Kami. Now still LGE holding on to the point strong, and TFE literally a morsel of percentage away from capturing point A, but LGE says no. Bible still keeping TFE in the fray. Giant as well, but LGE did hold off TFE for a long while. Let's see if TFE can still finally, let's see if they can actually capture the point.
The supports versus the world here, and they're going to try and clean up. Bible going to pick up another kill, and with that knockup from the Wrecking Ball, with that pile driver, this should spell the point being unlocked. But the real disaster here for TFE is how long it took them. LGE.Huya, they're willing to give up ground if they absolutely have to, because they're just going to bleed time off the clock. They're going to keep taking time away. By this point already, LGE.Huya had actually captured, or was close to capturing rather, point B with the amount of time bank that TFE currently has. And LGE.Huya, they're going to get at least 2 more fights here, and this could be, a very interesting last fight. Kino with a very early rally that is, that's really the answer to your problems. Just take a pick off early in the game. That can help you just win out fights.
That shot just whizzed right by us there. You're absolutely right. And you can see why Kami was putting so much pressure on Fish earlier, because you give Fish a little room, give him an inch, he'll take a mile for sure. So Fish gets that kill, slowing down LGE for the time being. Bible now putting some shots down Main Street. Hager going down very low, has to burn that telelocator to get back out. Bible getting closer and closer to that dragon. In fact, everyone on TFV getting closer and closer to it ult, really, except Kino. Giant gonna probably get that barrage soon. There's Bible with the dragon strike coming in, but the self-destruct from the other side might be able to even the odds. It doesn't. Bible 1 kill on Lensa, nothing else afterward. J-Mac again with the nano boost on his Winston. He's not getting kills, but he's doing so much damage it really forces the rest of the team away from him. But that just means TFV has to look for different targets. J-Mac does find a kill on the Fish. Hades now with the pile driver, looking for players on the point, trying to clean up the Sombra, can't do it. Giant now has the barrage, sees a few targets. Let's be Piggy trying to pick up a kill on that Mercy before he can damage boost the barrage. The barrage comes down, not going to find any targets cleanly and almost going down, but the resources burnt without any without any profit off of it. That being said, TFV does get the job done nonetheless, and it looks like they will get this second section.
This has been a very interesting case of why TFV, why we kind of expected them to be this aggressive on the offense. When you're playing tanks, you only have really one mobility cooldown, right? You only, like in Winston's case, it's a jump pack. And what they do is, even though the nano boost is committed onto J-Mac, he can't actually go after the DPS who have a lot more mobility options because he can only use one to engage, and then they use their cooldown to get away, and then the rest of the team just isn't there. So they need to make life very, very difficult on one target as opposed to trying to separate multiple at a time.
There come those Yoshis coming out, the Dragon Strike going to the corner, really just forcing LG out of that area so they can get the cleanup kills. And TFV, that works out perfectly. Bible's in position for a 3-piece right there. Bible, he's gone right there, the John 3:16. Open up those pages and showing them what Jesus was put on the cross for. 3 kills. That was crazy. Bible doing work. LGE now really nowhere to be found, looking for a way in. And now look, we're caught in this corner again. TFV such a great job at keeping LG positioned where they want. But LG breaking out, Kami and J-Mac getting some kills, Haker as well. And I think that's going to be more than enough to hold off TFV. But of course, TFV still has a bunch of time on the clock to do some more attempts on finishing this match.
I guess that's one way to prevent DPS from getting away, is just take their cooldowns away from them, and they can't really move around. So the EMP Blade combination, very, very strong. I think they use the nano boost on the Blade as well, and that allows them to take out the fight, but they had to use everything that they had, and now the ultimate of the self-destruct and the sound barrier is realistically the only that's going to be engaging or ready for this engage. Is it's going to be they're going to have to find a way to just shut down the DPS play on this last fight.
Oh, self-destruct kind of slotted in through middle, and no one's really home there. TFB is more than ready to get into cover in time, so now LG kind of just wasting resources there, I guess. Kami, though, finds the kill on the Jimmy, and Jimmy can't res himself, so that's going to be another delay on this push for TFB, and LGE going to continue to waste some time in the TFB push. Minute and 36 seconds to go, as Fish is having some trouble putting shots down. Look how low Fish is. Really can't peek at all, as Piggy is running rampant, taking out his DPS ally there, Giant. Minute and 25 seconds on the clock. TFB just slowly trying to build ultimates, but LG really not even letting them do that, being very aggressive, pushing TFB back towards spawn and leaving them with just over a minute left here to go.
This is now disaster territory for TFB because they're starting to build resources, but they have basically no time left, and this is LGE.Huya are going to... Oh boy, did they cancel a mine out there?
I think that might have been just as he was dropping the mines, possibly. Lensa and J-Mac, though, getting the kill before TFB's damage dealers can get anything done. Kami gets a shot. I thought it was a reflector, just the Shuriken kill on the Fish. Giant on J-Mac finds one. Might be too little too late here. Giant does get kills, but he already has a barrage, so doesn't even need the ult charge. And LG is right there at spawn, so it's really not even a big deal. And Giant really needs to have much more of an impact in these fights. And now Hades switches over from the Hammond to this Tracer lafon that might have a big impact.
You'd think, but the EMP is going to be here, and oh, they're going to find that. Oh, there was a really, really aggressive EMP. The Nano Blade comes through yet again.
Yeah, trying to get a reflect kill there onto Fish. Fish does dodge it. J-Mac picking up the slack as Kami only got 1 kill on that Blade. Kami harassing the backline here, making it very difficult, especially considering Jimmy had gone away from the backline to res Bible. So it's a perfect opportunity for Kami to get into that backline. Piggy and J-Mac doing some more damage. LGE have silenced TFV. All that DPS still isn't enough to break through the end of the map. Overtime ticking away. Molly and Haker just going off. Molly showing him what Widowmaker's actually like out here. The Fish gets cooked and put out on dry land, and there it is. LGE will hold off, and TFV goes down again. A hard start for this new team in the region as LGE.Huya goes up 2-0.
This is one of those places where you understand why Overwatch is the way it is, and sometimes when it comes down to analysis, it's simply you've got the wrong comp, right? You don't have a composition, and you're not massively overskilled in that comp, so you can just run the shredding power of the DPS, right? If you're not getting first pickoffs, your DPS comp is going to be weaker. It's going to be less effective in these elongated fights because tanks will hold their position, they will hold their ground, they will be, forced, they will just keep the objective from moving, and then even if you do capture the point, which in this case TFV did not, but even if you do, your time bank advantage is very, very minimal. And this is why through time Overwatch has trended towards more tank-based compositions, through more control-based compositions, right? Even during Dive's heyday, you see that you still run tanks because they do a very good job of setting up control, of taking space away from the deep to create space for the DPS to come in and actually do their thing. And I think here what we're seeing is TFE, they just don't have any way for the DPS to get in. They're relying on sheer fragging power, and when you have tanks that can mitigate that damage, then you suddenly become a lot less effective. So TFE, they have their work cut out for them, and they're going to have to find a step above here in this latter half of our series.
Absolutely. And going into this second half of the series for TFE, who do you think they need to worry about the most on the LGE roster right now?
Their tanks. Well, not their tanks. The tanks of LGE. I think right now it's not even the DPS are doing too much for LGE. It's just that they're set up, they're enabled, they're allowed to engage, they're allowed to continue using their resources, because one team in this matchup has had resource management, the other has been TFE. You don't really have that concept of alt economy in a quad DPS comp or triple DPS comp because you don't really need to. There's not really a whole lot of setup in that gameplay. So I think here TFE, they need to find some way of just allowing Fish to get these moments where he can have good sightlines, so he can get that pop off. Bible did really well, but then he gets zoned out, and then what do? There's not really a whole lot. I think Rapture, we kind of talked about this in the first point, right? But Kami just sat on Fish the whole game. He really just played anti-Widow Genji, and then you set both tanks on Fish. So now your two snipers out of the way, and then Giant just wasn't hitting enough shots to make up for the fact. So I think here we see the composition just not really realistically working for TFE here.
Yeah, I mean, they got their first victory on that one King of the Hill round, on that one control round, and then we haven't seen one since. Meanwhile, LGE, the Chengdu Hunters Academy team, a really good start to the season. Sure, it's against TFV, a new team, but hey, as they say, we take those. LGE.Huya is up 2-0. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go to a little bit of a break here as we're at halftime, and then we'll have the second half of the set coming your way. LGE.Huya is up 2-0. Can TFV bring it back? We'll find out on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. What's up, Overwatchers? Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders China Season 1 2019. It is set to Map 3, Day 1, Week 1. I am Rapture, here with lafon, up for Horizon Lunar Colony, as we've got a pretty hard start here for TFE. Team for Victory having a hard time living up to their name right now. They're down 0-2 against LGE.Huya, who's having a pretty solid start to their season after they've gotten 2 new pickups from the Korean region. They have Piggy and they have JMac, and now these players have certainly made a difference in LGE. lafon, what does TFE got to do to get back into this?
Play a tank, perhaps.
Yeah.
I think it's probably it's tough to be mad about it, because that's literally what they have to do at this point. And Hades on the wrecking ball is just not enough.
Yeah, definitely. And Hades, as you said, that Hades literally just runs into a wall and dies. So, hate to see that thing happen. 3 minutes and 26 seconds already on the board. LGE having a bit of trouble here, but of course the turtle wins the race. The slow and steady will win the race eventually. LG just taking their time, and the kills come to them.
They are going to get 1 kill. Okay, here's the thing. TFE is because they're running this quad DPS, actually I guess technically triple DPS, because they're running this composition, we have to measure them in kills, because that's how they succeed. You literally just need to get pick off after pick off, and it's not happening. And this has been an extended fight. Like, that last fight never ended, and the cleanup is just finally coming through. I'm sure that nano boost was intentional. I'm sure they wanted on the Lucio for sure. There's no doubt in my mind. But yeah, that first fight, it takes them 2 minutes, but they're going to get there. And on top of that, they're going to be building up to that EMP, which now sets the stage for this point B for a snowball take.
Yeah, LG an egregious amount of time on the clock. 6 minutes and 30 seconds and change to go. They're looking great. They do, and they just got the EMP, so that's great. They can easily just run in, throw down that EMP. That's their win condition, to land a fat EMP, and then just take this point right now. Meanwhile, TFB, they do have that pulse bomb, but they're not gonna be able to use it. Molly and Piggy got killed. 6v4 situation off that EMP. Nico does get the pulse bomb onto Molly, but is it too little, too late? Haker and the Winston going in, get the kill on the Bible. Kami steals it, lends it one on Nico, and then look at this Haker just doing unmitigated damage on the ground. Hades trying to contest as long as possible, but once Hades uses those cooldowns, they're big, a huge, slow, big target. They're gonna just build up ult charge as well. Kami trying to clean up the trickle-in defense from TFB. They don't even have the first tick yet, but Kami with those 3 kills, the triple kill, and then a 4th one, quadra kill. LGE will pick up this first point, second point as well, as long as TFB is held back. But with this Reaper, can they get up onto the point in time? Bible's still bolstered up. Here comes the self-destruct, and lafon, LGE, they might be able to weather this.
You know, I think LG, they're going to take this point eventually. It's literally just a matter of time at this point. And, okay. This is really, really messy, but the dash resets come through, and Haker going down. I don't know, Rapture, they need to find the final blows quicker, and LGE just slowly eking out of their victory here.
Both teams enjoying this map so much, they just don't want the game to end, lafon. They're like, oh, we're loving this. And actually, TFB, they are somehow holding LGE back. A minute and 30 seconds were burned on that crazy fight, but the switch from Bible to Reaper actually paid off? Maybe?
That's a generous interpretation. 98.9%. What happens there is that LGE, they recognize that they're winning, and instead of cleaning up the fight, they just take their time, they waste their time away, and they allow the DPS to get a pickoff. It's not going to work. You cannot have that happen.
Oh. And literally, as Kami and Molly went to go in, Giant went way too close to the ground and took a ton of damage, and then JMac picked up the kill. That's huge for LGE. And now it's Bible trying to hold on to this. And Bible is almost kind of even getting ignored a little bit here. LGE, though, can't ignore Nico as Pulse Bomb. That one lands on Piggy. Hager gets killed by Hades, and now Nico just helping the rest of this tank line of TFB. The one tank of TFB, that is, excuse me, tank line, what am I talking about? Get these kills onto LGE.Huya. And again, LGE.Huya held off by TFB from playing the map.
The reason why Reaper is called the Plat Killer is because if you ignore him, he does a ton of damage and doesn't die. Whereas if you focus him, he suddenly becomes a lot less deadly. And I think here what happens is TFV, they use the rally pack, they put all their resources into Bible, and LG.Huya, rather than respond to that, they just ignore him, and he's able to do all the damage in the fight. And LG, questionable decision making in that last team fight, allowing the Reaper to get that much value.
It looked like the right call if they could clean up everyone else first, but they didn't. And then when you don't clean up the rest of the team, of course that Reaper who's being ignored is going to do all that damage. Giant finds one on Kami. A little out of character as Giant usually isn't the first one to get a kill in these fights, so that's a good start. And LGE,
It was a really nice double direct actually from Giant.
Yeah,
It's the back-to-back on the Genji, so.
yeah. So LG, again, like you said, they're not going to push it. They're going to waste time a little more, not force the envelope, not push the envelope too much here, and then they're going to wait and eventually get back in. TFB, though, they just have to continue to defend for over 3 minutes here, LaFon.
Yeah, LGE, they're farming ultimates now, right? They're almost up to that Dragon Blade. They're almost up to the EMP. They're wanting to combo these coming through. And they're just going to engage with the Nano Boost on the Monkey.
Yeah, and there it is, going right in there. There's an EMP coming out. Or, no, not an EMP just yet. Hager almost has it, though. Lensa gets one on Jimmy. Now J-Mac on the Nano Boost gets stunned. There it is. Oh, nice self-destruct. And it catches Hades up top there just at time. Molly and Hager also getting up on here. And that's going to be it. Not enough players are on the point. That's it.
That's just... It's tough to call that a back cap because there was no like sneaking. You know, we all know what that was. We all know what that was.
Yeah.
You get so caught up in fragging that you just it happens. It happens to the best of us, man. And
it's one of those things you can't always describe it, but you know it when you see it.
Yep, for sure. I mean that's about what we expected for this particular match though, or this particular map, I should say. HLC, not necessarily known for its stellar, clean gameplay. I should probably apologize for that pun, considering HLC is on the moon, which is in space.
You're on your own on that one, man.
Listen, stellar stars, come on, man. Come on, it's pretty straightforward.
You are on your own, my guy. TFV, let's see what they can do here. They have, I would say that LGE is a pretty solid, solid time bank. You know, that's respectable for HLC. TFV, they're not changing up what they're gonna do.
Wait, Jimmy just didn't walk on the point. Oh, yeah, that's a good old fashioned C9, my dude. Oh my goodness.
Well, I would say that for now, they definitely got to think about that one. Have that awareness. You can't be... What year is it? And yet it's like, you can honestly... That's one of those things where you can't honestly blame teams sometimes because it happens to everybody. It really
does. It really does.
All right, here we go. TFV breaking out a spawn here. LGE.Huya on defense. TFV, no surprise, sticking with those 3 DPS along with the Hammond as their one single tank. LGE going with a composition that we saw on King's Row on their defense, a composition that has the Genji, has the Ana, has a Sombra, allowing them to stay mobile and shut down TFV once they start to overextend.
I think here what we're kind of saying is that they're dropping the Sombra for the Tracer. Hades gets left. I would like to see them hard commit on one of the tanks when they engage here from Huya, the TFE that is. And right now, oh my goodness, okay. Nico gets a frag, but I don't know that it's going to be enough. Again, they don't have that staying power. They lose a Sombra for a tank, and that might be enough for LG to hold here.
And Nico getting some free ult charge here too. Then finds Molly in the background, not gonna overkill, doesn't want to get slept here. Nice job juking out that Ana there, and still building up a bunch of ult charge, getting closer and closer to this pulse bomb. Really distracting this backline here. We're trying to focus on their tanks staying alive, who are contesting with the high ground led by Bible, who throws down that Dragon Strike. Not gonna kill anybody, but it forces LGE to get up onto the point, right into the vacuum there as Giant picks up 2 kills at the barrage. Jimmy gets the res onto Giant as he went down, forced to stay in position. He was channeling the barrage. Bible picks up some kills.
Oh,
Giant
this is
back
so
on
bad.
Board, and look at that, TFV steamrolling on LG.
This is so bad for LG.
They might be able to snowball this too.
Yeah, the Molly got extremely caught out there. They're gonna have to give up space here now, Rapture. They don't have a choice. They can't actually take this fight right now.
They're barely going to be able to stagger onto this, but there's the EMP coming out from Haker. Haker does get cut down immediately, but that EMP came out in time for Kami to capitalize. Gets 1 kill on the Giant going forward, and it looks like that's all Kami's going to get.
Okay, so it could have been a lot more disastrous than it actually was, and Molly is thanking his stars. This fight should be over any moment now as they're gonna sleep the Wrecking Ball, but Molly should be absolutely thanking that his team for taking advantage of the fact that they had the EMP, because not only did he commit the Nano Boost on the Mercy in that last fight, which not the greatest choice, Lensa not really able to do a whole lot in Valkyrie form, just trying to heal, not do the damage, and the Nano Boost just misses, so they lose, and then on top of that gets staggered out in a very late fight. And it is TFE, they're just unable to take that conversion. They're unable to turn that around into a 2-point capture. And again, that first pickoff, though.
Oh, yeah, Bible finds Haker to get things started, looking for more. There's the dive in right onto that Hanzo. Kami now on the McCree finds Giant. Dragon Strike comes out, again, no kills, but I've been getting these so often, why not throw them out? Kami another one onto Jimmy. It should be enough here for Kami to continue to push it forward. Haker steals the kill, but look at this. Kami relentless on this McCree. The revolver continues to shoot. Gun working out great. Sometimes you just gotta pick gun. That's a good weapon. 5 minutes and 12 seconds to go. As it looks like TFV will continue to falter on this offensive push.
And now they're going to bring up another switch. Nico going over to the McCree himself, so they're going to mirror that they're going to mirror that hero pick. The composition, of course, vastly different, as both McCrees get their own Mercy in their back pocket. So good old-fashioned damage boost. This is, what year is it, Rapture?
We were asking that earlier, man, and I think we are in present day 2019, but Bible kind of reminding J-Mac, you gotta at least figure out what you're doing once you get out of spawn, bro. You can get clocked down, and that's a 6v5 situation. EMP, though, comes out. Kami was trying to capitalize on it and almost does, but Haker steals the kill. Kami finds it alone on Kino. It is a 6v4 situation here for LGE. Kami, another one onto Nico. Still, someone needs to take care of Kami. Kami finds Bible, still alive somehow, continues to move forward. Lenzer reses Haker, and now 4 minutes and change on the board. Kami is really just setting this TFV team right here with the
There's something so amusing about watching two DPS go at each other. It's almost like a dance. Kind of see it here. The McCree into the into the Hanzo, and they're just like looking at each other. Oh, oh man.
And McCree is a character you do see sometimes in Overwatch Contenders, but not that often. And you'll realize why pretty soon, because that McCree hard to get out of pretty bad situations sometimes with that low mobility. Couldn't get away from even a channeled ult like the Barrage. Here come a res from Lenza to get Kami back into the fray, though. You need that McCree. You got to have that Cowboy to rein in the other team. And then Kami immediately gets on the board. What's kill onto Kino. J-Mac picking up the slack as well. Finds Jimmy. Kami looking for hunting him down. Gonna get that bounty as well onto Hades. Look at that. Kami just a huge, terrorizing force here against TFV.
And Nico's just trying to throw the kitchen sink right now. They're switching over to the Widowmaker. They need a fight. Again, these pickoffs need to come fast. They need to come furious. And right now, they're just not happening for TFV. They're taking so much damage on the entry.
Oh, the EMP comes out from Haker and immediately lands on Giant. That was a fatty EMP right there. Kami trying to steal a kill, and the Hanzo does pick him up. Bible got knocked into the air, couldn't move too much since they were airborne. Gets an easy pickup. Now focusing on the guinea pig there, the hamster. Sorry. Hamster goes down.
A little bit different, yeah.
Slightly different, but still significant.
There's just an air of inevitability about this match right now, Rapture. I'm not sure if you're seeing this like it's LGE.Huya, like no matter what TFV's running, they almost seem desperate. They almost seem like they don't really know what they want to do. And LGE.Huya, even though they're kind of messy, they're still taking full advantage of it. And again, another commit early on, and it's finding value.
And again, J-Mac with that nano boost on him. Picky finds one on Jimmy. I think you're absolutely right here. TFV is scrambling, and LGE is just staying so stable here. They're getting the picks they need. Their tank line is putting pressure on TFV's DPS, so they can't just be all flighty and running around and getting free damage done. They constantly have to get back into cover, and that allows Kami to run wild.
I think here, yeah, the TFV needs a solution, and I think at this point, maybe it's not even going to happen in this match. This is a really awkward place. Again, they engage with the Wrecking Ball, but again, that first pickoff, again for the defense.
Yeah, and that's on Bible too, a character or a player TFV relies on to get a ton of damage done too, so you really can't be losing that Hanzo so early. Yeah. Kami, no one's looking at him. Somebody look at Kami, or maybe you don't want to look at his way because it's a high noon going right between the eyes. Hades the only one that gets hit by it though, but still Kami, a ton of damage and really only Giant putting some pressure on for just a little bit. Kami alone is sectioning off huge portions of this point away from that TFV.
Because who's going to counter him, right? Nico, but then he has to face tanks. Oh, another hack comes in. Oh, just dead. Bible's just dead.
And then, yeah, that's so rough. I mean, they've been, again, relying on Bible so much. No more Dragon Strike, really, to try and separate out the team, stir the pot, get the mix going. This is really rough here for TFV.
There comes a stagger on Kino. Nico walks back to spawn. Is he going to switch now? Yeah, he is. Goes back to the McCree, but, you know, he didn't have value early on, so I struggle to see how he's going to have value now. Is Kami just gonna like sit in the corner here, like flashbang right click someone who comes through? That'd be really funny.
He needs a rest. He needs a little nap. You know, this has been some long fights here. I mean, they've been on this push for 6 minutes and 30 seconds. He definitely needs to take a little break.
Hades just stopped playing the game there, by the way. If you look at the assist feed, oh my goodness.
J-Mac and Piggy getting up onto the board here, and that'll be 6 2-4 advantage, and TFV really struggling to get on the point at all here. About 30 seconds left on the clock. They have some resources, but if Bible gets hacked again before this fight gets started, that'll be it.
This EMP is going to be the end of the game here, I think. Haker has the... they're all funneling through one area, too. Oh, no. Yeah, that's 3 people caught.
And there, yep, the EMP comes down. That'll be, I think that could be it for TFV. Yep, LGE just flattens them right there. A few seconds left on the clock, and that is all they wrote. LGE, an absolute destruction on TFV, and that means that they will also win the set here as they take in 3 maps. That'll be all, folks, there. We will play a 4th one, but LGE is confirmed the victor of this set. They've taken it 3-0 and might make it 4-0. Team for victory. They won a single phase of control, and they haven't seen victory since. Lingon Esports Huya looking good.
Yeah, Haker with a little dance, little victory dance at the end of the map there. Horizon Lunar Colony going the way we kind of expected it to after the first 2 maps, but I mean, if you're TFV, now you're playing for pride, you're playing for momentum, you're playing for the mental game. You're not just playing and map differential, of course. There's still stuff up in the air here for TFV. And I think here we're starting to talk about the mental game of Overwatch a little bit. TFV, they open up really strong on Lijiang Tower on that garden control stage, and they looked strong doing it. And I think one of the reasons why is because this DPS comp, it took a moment for LGE to recognize, to sort of react to the composition they were running, and then since then it's been all LGE.Huya in this matchup. So I think now TFV, they need to throw something up here because effectively they've only been running cheese in this map or in this match, and it has really not worked out well for them.
The problem with running cheese is eventually you get put full of holes and you get ran through. So that's the unfortunate part of TFV here. They can throw a wrench in LGE's plans for later in the season. They take a map off here. It could matter later down the road in terms of map differential. We'll see. Can LGE get the 4 maps, or can TFV take 1 map win away from them? We'll find out. We're going to get resynced back into this. We're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere, though. More Overwatch Contenders China Season 1 2019 coming your way after this short break. What's up, Overwatchers? Are you watching? Because it's not over. We're up for a map number 4, and it is going to be Junker Town. Junker TZ, and I'm Rapture here with lafon from Overwatch Contenders China, Season 1, 2019, Week 1, Day 1. It is TFV versus Lingon Esports Huya. Now, LGE, they're up 3-0. They've won the set effectively. Now it's up to them to get the 4-0, or will they be stopped by Team 4 Victory, who really just Team 4 Map 4, because that's what they need to get here. lafon, we already know that the tanks for LGE are crazy good. They have more of them than TFV. Does TFV really stand a chance here?
I mean, if anything, this is the map that they'd arguably be the best on, right? This is Junker Town. This is a map which is, oh, that's not a good start. But this is this is the map where you'd think DPS would be sort of that crazy compositional style would pay off. And hey, Nico trying his best to make it happen. Oh, what?
How could you take us away from that hook? Come on, cameraman, that was sick. A hook out of nowhere, Hail Mary hook throw, catches Jimmy, that was great. And then another hook, that's a bigger target there, but almost actually gets the kill too. Great job, and already LGE coming out of the woodwork with a composition that you should all know and love on this point for Junker Town. And now as they're continuing to move forward, 3 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock, LGE moving forward here on TFV, who's nowhere to be found.
Molly's been playing with some flash here. He's been, going after the hooks, trying to see if he can play a little aggressively, and done a really good job of it. And okay, we've got Hanzo out in no man's land, and we're gonna see if they can try and contest on the point here. Hades, he gets in.
That's what happened, and Giant just flew out of nowhere. Not sure he was going. Molly now cranking it, puts Hades through the grinder. There we go, 6v4 situation here for LGE, and they're making it look easy right now. They're cream corn in this other team right now. TFV, they do pick up a couple kills on the outside of this, but that's because the DPS players of TFV are behind LGE, and they're all the way behind trying to get the backline, but that just draws the attention of this big piggy right here. Piggy and the literal Piggy both getting kills, getting on the board. TFV stop, and now they got the hold on the second segment.
And Kami, I switches over to the McCree. This is such a strange match here. Bible also over to the Reaper. They had some middling success with it on Horizon Lunar Colony, so I think they're trying to recreate it, hopefully to better effect. Now, the EMP online though, if he catches 2 or 3 people, this could be it.
And he goes right there, has no idea Hager's waiting for him. EMP catches the far as well. Great play, putting Giant right down to the ground. J-Mac, Haker, Kami all getting on the board. lafon, LG with another big sweep.
Here's the thing. DPS comps need to get frags and they need to get timely kills. They cannot have them, sort of staggered out through the remainder of the map. And right now, not only are they, not getting the first kill, they're just not getting kills. LGE has been absolutely in the driver's seat, not in this entire... Oh, goodness. Every time I turn around, there's something that happens and I'm like, is that allowed? Can they do that?
There's twists and turns at every corner here, lafon. You can't predict it. You really can't see what's going to happen. Now we're going into the third segment here, pushing on through his LGE right down Main Street. Molly has the grinder ready to go. Just barely whips that hook onto Lense. Here goes self-destruct to try and get things going. Stir the pot. Jimmy gets killed here. Piggy gets that one. And now a big advantage again for LG. They're hiding behind this shield. There's very little TFV can do here to lafon to get leverage for them to get out behind that shield.
I suppose it's one thing for TFV that they have the moral victory that they never switched the comps that wasn't working. I'm not sure that's, a good thing, but it's a thing. And I think here now, Hades needs help, man. He just cannot engage on the point. He cannot really contest. He's 1 versus the world, and his DPS just aren't getting the kills required to sort of help him out.
Giant going down early again, and now TFV can only rely. They don't even have a Mercy to res him back, and now they just have a Reaper and a McCree, 2 really low mobility DPS players or characters, and they get cut down as well. LGE really just finding the wound in TFV and pushing it hard and deep. And now TFV trying to hold on, Giant trying to push out. Kami does get caught out by Giant. They both use their ultimates, they both get cut down. LGE really don't need to force this whatsoever. They have 4 minutes on the clock here, lafon, but I think they're going to capture pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're slowly staggering out. They did get the Resurrect off. As you mentioned, the Death Blossom here is probably the last-ditch effort they have at holding. And he's looking, but they see him.
Yeah, and I don't think he has, because they know he's there, I don't think he has the opportunity to drop down. And EMP catches him off guard, too. And that was 4 members of TFV hacked there by that EMP. And then Kami looks for them 1 by 1. Self-destruct just for good measure. Nico can't get away from that. Jimmy just stands still, knowing that their fate has been sealed. Just Hades trying to delay as long as possible, but at that point, I think it's a fool's errand right there to try and do so. LGE, again, picking up a very convincing map completion, and now TFV really have to dig deep to find somehow, some way to take any kind of point, anything over LGE right now.
In the last 2 points, so that includes point 2 and point 3, TFV got 1 elimination.
Are you serious?
Yes. It was on Kami on the McCree.
Wow.
And then of course there was a resurrect. So
True.
basically 0 elims in 2 points.
Well,
That's not really a great stat line.
You know, sometimes they do the World's Guinness Book of World Records. They do high records, they do low records. So maybe they're trying lowest possible eliminations in a Contenders China game. That's something that puts you in a book. That's something that gets your name out there. I don't know, Lafon. You have to look at this from a different perspective.
I mean, here we're looking at the perspective of TFV taking a map. So I
true.
don't know that that's necessarily a stat line.
Yeah. Oh well.
I mean, this story. What happens here now on this particular point or on this particular map now is the same thing we were talking about on King's Row. To go back to that, is that TFV defense is not a thing. They need to play super aggressively. If they're going to run this quad DPS or this triple DPS composition, their thought process needs to be: we're likely not going to win assault, right? Because you need to have tank play on assault. You really need to have that staying power. But now you need to make up for it on the other map types, on control, on escort, where you can play frag heavy styles and sort of succeed. You need to go all out offense. And I think for TFV, now we need to see that first pick off every single time, every single fight, and it needs to be very consistent.
Oh, at the last second there, speaking of consistency or lack thereof, a Giant normally going on the far last second picks McCree. Picks McCree and then gets hooked and dies. So might reconsider that and go back to the Pharah. Interestingly enough, TFV really isn't going the most high mobility DPS characters against characters from LGE like the Roadhog, like the Widowmaker, they like the Sombra that can take advantage of that. And really LG feels like they have a counter comp against this. TFV, I mean, they are having such a problem just peeking at all.
I think right now it's okay.
Yeah, see?
It's not even a counter comp at this point, right? Like, I mean, yes, LGE their comp does work well against what TFV is running, but at a certain point, you got to realize that it might not matter what LGE are playing, right? They could be playing, the 3-3, they could be playing dive, and they most likely would still have had success. This comes down to a fundamental failure in the composition that TFV is running. It is designed, quad DPS was designed specifically for one thing, and that is to make sure to take away what GOATS was good at, that 3-3 composition, right? It's very closed, very concentrated on open maps. Quad DPS can succeed. I think right now what we're seeing is, Bible's popping off, but how much more is he going to do that through the later stages of the map? This is a very difficult time this is very difficult to predict.
Yeah, and honestly, LG could easily get right back here in time to potentially contest again. TFV really has to commit so much to staying mobile. They committed all their resources, their ability just to get those kills, but now Bible's really the only one that has anything to show for it. Giant, they still have Kino on the Reaper. These are all... Alright, so LG doesn't get there in time, but I think LG realized that. There's no reason to force it.
That's
the
really
Bible,
good
that's Dragon Spray. That's really good. Alright, so TFV starting to get some momentum here. Lafon looking a little better than they did earlier. A little bit.
I think we're going to have to redefine what a fight means in Overwatch. Like, it's classically been something, but I think these two teams are trying to, reset that meaning. And, they get the resurrect off. It was close, but they got it. I think one of the things here... Okay, good. Continue to stagger kills out. This is what TFV needs, right? Dude. This is what TFV needs. You need to not take a proper team fight. Like, I actually genuinely think you need to make this even more chaotic if you're TFV at this point.
No, you're absolutely right. Just continue to lean into these extreme compositions you're going for. I absolutely agree here. And they needed some mobility, so put on that Tracer. But Kino gets stunned, goes down. That's a big problem with Reaper, is that he has to burn a cooldown to either engage, and then he doesn't have that cooldown to get back out, or he doesn't use it to engage, and he dies before he gets there. So that's a big problem with Reaper engaging. Molly just catches Bible, a great halt from the Heurix, keeping everyone in place. LGE, I mean, showing how paper thin this 5 DPS composition really is, and stopping this payload. And so far, it looks like both teams might have the same exact amount of time on the time though.
Oh, that was a really good roll from Giant there. I think that's a very impressive reaction there. Now, you have to think that with 4 ultimates, nearly 5, that they're going to have to engage here if you're TFV. There, I guess it is.
There you go. They're just like, all right, well, it's time to go in, and they do. They use that off of the pulse bomb from Hades, the snowball just a little bit, and they actually get 4 kills off of it. So, all right, When TFV kind of needs it most, they seem like they're somehow getting these kills, or LGE's giving them to them, but LGE still doesn't seem worried whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I don't think they should be either. I think now you got to get off this Orisa comp, but, you know, they've got the superchargers, so I think they're going to play one more fight with it. You've got the EMP. I think that you get one more contest. No, you're not going to contest this, the second point, but you get one more fight early in this third stage, and then maybe you switch your composition off the Hog to a little bit more, you know, the Diva, to maybe even to the Winston, because, again, this is this third point, tank favored, and you know how gummed up this place can get. It can be a real struggle.
And that Dragon Strike from Bible does put Lensa in a bad position, gets the kill as a result. Now Giant using the high noon from above finds Molly. Piggy did get did defense matrix some of it, didn't get all of it. Bible and Hades still getting on the board there again. Bible for 3 in a span of a few seconds, and that's more than enough for TFE to shut down LGE.
Yeah, on that high noon, it actually fires from right to left on the McCree's screen. So if you're on the left-hand side of his... Sorry, if he's on your left-hand side, when you're on the receiving end, he will actually deal damage that direction. So the high noon came out, and the Hog was too far out of the Matrix's range, considering how it fires through.
And look at Kino just sneaking around, looking for an opportunity with the Death Blossom, while Giant just gets absolutely pistol whipped there by a gorilla that doesn't have one. Bible finds one on Molly. Now, there we go, a 5v3, 5v2 situation here for LGE as they find the squishy components of TFV all clumped up together. They get kills. Piggy, the rest of the tank line of LGE, just stomp TFV. And now 3 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock for Team for Victory. LGE might be able to shut them down right here, right now.
I think that we talked about this at the very start of this third point, that they're going to switch the tank comp to the Winston Diva to play a little bit more aggressively. That's in fact what they do. And with this Ana now, Kino has even more things to worry about, because one of the things that makes Reaper stronger is that he has that, you know, lifesteal. But if he's hit with that Bionade, then suddenly that lifesteal gone, no longer viable as a character.
Wow, a great Dragon Strike by Bible, catching J-Mac as they were caught on a corner, and then also following up on Molly as they tried to get a dodge, and then sniping out Lensa from behind that payload, and looking for more against Haker as well. Just Bible going off right here on the Hanzo, and Hades distracting for him. Great play there by the TFV DPS players there. Kami now trying to do a lot of damage, gets cut down by Bible as well. TFV looking better and better, but you know, they're inconsistent. They're still trying to get around this last corner though.
Yeah, Bible dead. There he goes. The nano boost committed. Rapture. Yeah. Okay, this is not even a fight. I think he's just gonna jump in with a nano boost. They're all low HP. The cleanup comes through. Tough to say. Yes, Bible looks very impressive, but you know, it doesn't matter if you can't push the payload whatsoever. And yes, he gets 5 kills, but you don't have any staying power, and with the spawns being so close for the defense, you just have no way of, you know, completing out the map. I want to see, you know, Hades he goes back to the Wrecking Ball, but I don't think it's going to be enough here, Rapture. I really don't.
No, I agree. I want one of those other DPS players to go another tank. You know, like, just 3 DPS would probably be more than enough. You don't need 4, but Bible finds that shot onto Lensa, and Giant, wow, on the high noon, gets absolutely bullied away from everybody, sent all the way back into, I mean, just as far away as possible for everybody, but the high noon still managed to DMAC Piggy, that is. And Hades and Kino will get on the board still. I mean, despite LGE putting on a pretty solid showing here with their tank line, I mean, TFV is still finding the kills. They're still winning these quote-unquote fights, and they're getting closer and closer to ending the map.
Lensa does have the sound barrier, though. This could go well.
Oh, Death Blossom from Kino. I was waiting for him to use it. He finally does. And LaFon, it looks like TFE still has gas in the tank, but LGE closer and closer to their spawn means they're able to recontest a lot earlier, a lot quicker, a lot sooner. And Nico able to do that. Gets a kill on the J-Mac, but now LG in full control. 50 seconds remaining, and TFV wiped from the board again.
This is what tanks are so good at. I sound like a broken record, but that's why you see tanks played. It's because they can contest objectives like better than DPS can. This is why 3-3 was so strong. This is why Overwatch has trended towards more healing. There's just not been enough. You need to get all 6 kills, and you need to get them really quickly to be able to shut down this push. Like, they got 5 kills again, and they still lose the fight, so. Ooh.
When Kami finds Bible, shuts the chapter on that one, gets another one on Giant, this blade paying off. Now there might be a res coming out here from the Mercy Jimmy. Should be able to get there in time, but Kami has their sights on him, stopping Jimmy, denying him the res. Great player by Kami, and then an EMP coming out by Haker. That's going to be enough to shut down TFV, and I think that is it, LaFon. TFV, all they have left are Bible and Giant, who are nowhere to be found. LGE takes the series 4-0, our first 4 Overwatch, 0 Overwatch here in Contenders China, and it goes to LGE and Huya. A great start for them in the season, while TFV floundering and falling. They drop 4 maps. Lafon, LGE, they take it 4-0.
I think this is expected. After that first map, you kind of see how, TFV are playing. You get the chance to recalibrate, re-understand, how the engage is going to happen, what expectations you have coming into each and every map, and then knowing what comps you have to play. I think LGE came in maybe not sure what they were scouting out from TFV. Again, this is a team that's very new. This is a team that we don't really have a lot of game tape on, and this is now where you start to build an understanding. And I think TFV, this is the fact they weren't able to even get on the board here. They got a couple of points throughout the series, but not really enough, and they never really looked in control. I think either is the thing, right? Even when they were winning map objectives out, they didn't look like they were in the driver's seat. It almost felt like LGE just slipped a little bit too much here and there, and that's why those points were unlocked. I think now, if your other team's looking at TFV, you see what they're capable of. I think TFV, they have a lot of work to do if they want to be competitive in this season. And early on already, this has been there's a couple of question marks already for TFV. Just can they play tanks? Can they? Like, do they have a player that can actually use a tank player, a tank character? That's a question I want answered now.
Yeah, I mean, Hades really was the closest to that, but even Hades willing to put on a show for 5 DPS rather than staying on the Hammond every time. So yeah, definitely a lot of questions that need to be answered by TFE. There's always those teams in Chinese Contenders that will run, and when we say crazy and orthodox composition, sometimes we may mean slight modifications. This team is out there. They're Bed Bath and Beyond in terms of these compositions. So we'll see, can TFE change it up? Will they stick to their guns, just improve on how they play? Or will they adapt to the meta around them and try and use that to their advantage? We'll see. LGE, though, a great start for them, and definitely, certainly can't really have any complaints about that match really whatsoever. Not too much of a learning experience for them. We'll see how it pays off throughout the rest of the season. Don't go anywhere, folks. We still have more Overwatch Contenders trying to come in your way. There's one more match to go. On the other side of this, a bit of a break here, but once we come back to about 10 minutes or so, we have our third and final match of the day, and it is 666 Legend against Billy Gaming. That is right. The Gunjo Academy team is here. Billy is ready to play. Don't go anywhere. Up against TSL will be coming your way on the other side of this break.